Yeah, man, it's the 13th of February, Valentine's Day Eve. So I'm happy to be dating myself still, and probably will continue that. So, anyway, I want to tell you some ways to spot a gang stalker, like 7 ways. We'll do 7 ways to spot a gang stalker, and these are from personal experience, knowing who some gang stalkers are and becoming gang stalked with remote neural monitoring and understanding what these gang stalkers do and some of the things you could look out for. Because I've experienced firsthand, I've had a lot of insight. People are like, how do you know so much about neural monitoring? It's because I know gang stalkers. I know people that have it. And that's really the biggest insight you could have, to know that somebody has neural monitoring and to know them personally and closely, and to see how that all transpires. So, um, I got the panda bear hood thing on. I wear it all the time while I'm chilling at the house. And some people think I'm weird. It's cool. Think whatever you want. I like it. So, um, now let me just go into this. Back in the day, when I would be around somebody that was a gang stalker, and I didn't quite understand why, but they would kind of just be like, look like they're talking to themselves under their breath, right? And I didn't understand why. I didn't understand, like, what do you do? But later, when I started to experience artificial telepathy, when they started talking to me, and then it all made sense, because somebody would be talking to me, and it's really hard in the beginning to break off from this, and like you have to learn how to not do this, because the urge is to do this, because it's a broadcast and it's mind control on your neurological broadcast frequency coming directly to your mind. So somebody who's talking to you with artificial telepathy, you get the urge to talk along with them. So, like, say for instance, it would be like Black James back in like 2015, and he'd be talking to me, this gang stalker guy, right? He'd be talking to me, and I'd be talking along with him, word for word for word for word for word, and you don't even realize you're doing it, and you can't even help it really, until you realize that you're doing it, and you start to make a physical effort to break off from that. So he's talking to me, and I'm talking along with him, and he's like, I can talk for myself, Kevin. And I'm like, I feel like an idiot because I'm talking along with him, right? So it dawns on me all of a sudden, this person that I was around back before, when they're sitting there talking to themselves, right there under their breath, they're not being targeted. They were a gang stalker, and they had somebody else that was on my channel, right? And giving them the play by play of what I'm thinking. This is what he's thinking, right? They're talking to the person that I'm with, right? It was a whole setup thing, right? But I realize now that while this girl was sitting there talking along, talking to her, so looking like she was talking to herself, she had somebody on her channel talking to her with artificial telepathy, consensually. Obviously, they have neural monitoring. It's not like my situation where they just come on my channel and like, go away, I'm good, go away. No, it's not like that. It's consensual, and they let them on, but still the effects are the same. So if you're around somebody and they're sitting there doing that, look like they're talking to themselves, they they probably got somebody on their neural monitoring connected to them, talking to them with artificial telepathy broadcast from neural monitoring. It's an EMF broadcast. It's part of the whole thing. It's part of the whole package, right? But likely what's going on is somebody's connected to you, and they know what you're thinking, and they're giving that person that's with you the play by play. Okay? So that's one thing you can look out for. People look like they're talking to themselves. Second thing you can look out for is somebody that's got a server, a computer server in their home, or either running their computer on this thing that you never heard of, or it's called local host, where they're running their computer as a server. Okay, And most people don't even use desktop computers anymore. Um, I do, but most people don't. So um, if somebody's running a server in their house, then you should be very suspicious what they got going on with that server. If you're dealing with gang stalker type people, or you think you're being gang stalkers got servers or hosting packages is another one. Okay, I was closely associated with somebody who became or was in the process of becoming a gang stalker and getting their neural monitoring. And then they would obviously have to make a decision whether they're going to become a gang stalker or not. But they were in the process of getting their neural monitoring and figuring out how to use all of those things. So one thing that they were doing was they had a hosting package. And this is a person that I knew for a long time. I knew they never had a computer. They were never into computers. They knew nothing about computers, way less than me even. And they knew nothing about computers. And suddenly, they're on Android developer every day, and having a Bluehost hosting package, and then here's another one, a virtual machine. This person had a virtual machine. That means they had a virtual device. They had a virtual Android on their iPad. Showed it to me. Showed it to me. This was before I became gang stalked, and this was something that dawned on me later. Like, oh, that's what's going on, right? Because if I'm a gang stalker and you want to search through my phone, you ain't gonna find anything. Because why? Because I don't keep it on my phone. I keep it on my virtual machine, my virtual phone, my virtual device, which is the same as a physical device. It's just a software package bundle of your operating system and whatever device you decide it is you're going to have, but it has to be hosted somewhere. Hence the Bluehost or the HostGator or some hosting package. Or it could be hosted on a physical device with some secret way to get to it. These are all things that can let you know that you're dealing with some very suspicious activity, because that's what they do. They keep neural monitoring stuff and gang stalking stuff. Neural monitoring stuff is on virtual machines. All right, but a virtual machine, it needs to be hosted somewhere, and it needs to have connectivity or a hardware device to process and everything else. Another thing, obviously, if somebody's got a mind control headset, it looks like an EEG type of thing. The ones I've seen are way thinner. Like they could just put it on almost like a shower cap. Like the ones swimmers wear. But it had the little looking like electrode little things all over it. Actually had some wires, and had some little wristbands that was all attached to this little box that they would clip on their belt, right? And it was a mind control headset. Obviously, you see that. That's the biggest number one giveaway. Um, Overwhelming coincidences, right? If somebody just happens to know everything, but there ain't no way they can be knowing all of this stuff, then it's too many coincidences. Probably ain't a coincidence anymore. I knew this person, the one that has my neural monitoring, the one that possesses that neurological broadcast frequency profile online of Kevin Christian. And every time that I would be doing something that wasn't something they wanted me to be doing, I would start getting all these calls and all this interference. People trying to interfere with my life. Her trying to interfere with my situation, with my current situation that I was dealing with at that time. To try to throw me off from that or deter me from whatever it was that I was involved in at the moment. And it's coincidence, sure, okay, but coincidence and coincidence and coincidence and consistency of coincidences at a perfect timing always, it's no longer a coincidence. Trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. Um, Backing up a little bit to this whole virtual device thing, I knew somebody, and this is a separate person that I was talking about with the virtual Android on the iPad and all of that. I knew somebody else that had a virtual device, and they're also a gang stalker. And they would call my phone, but it would come up some different number. And I'm like, what's this number you're calling me from? Nothing. I'm calling from my number. Nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, sure. I'm thinking, what is this, like a Google Voice number? Or you got some kind of secret call app or something? So I would get around this person, right? And I said, I'm going to fix you, right? I put in that random number that was unfamiliar, and it made their phone ring. I was like, why's your phone ringing? Well, I just called this weird number. Look at this weird number I just called, and your phone's ringing. I know this not your number because I know your real number because we know each other. We're close. I know your real number, but I'm calling this weird number, and now your phone's ringing. Right? And this person went on a whole big tirade about trying to, if that's a word, trying to prove to me otherwise. And I'm gonna call my network provider and all this different stuff. And nope, 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 nope. What it was, they had a virtual machine, and it was linked to their device, and but they didn't want to admit that. They didn't want to admit, and I still got the number. I still got quite a few of their numbers that where they have virtual machines, and it links a lot of stuff together, right? But things get crossed up. Somebody calls you, and it gives you their virtual machine number on your caller ID, but you know that that's not their real number. It's a dead giveaway. They got a virtual device. All right. If they're gone that far, okay, because I've learned a little bit about virtual devices and all of that stuff. And if they've gone that far to be able to have it on their phone and link together and all of that, they're a gang stalker. And you can know that. You can walk confident with that knowledge. So that's like seven things that you can use to your advantage to be able to spot a gang stalker, somebody that has access to neural monitoring. No such thing as an ex gang stalker that's being gang stalked. Once you have your neural monitoring, you have it, and at that point, nobody gonna do too much bad stuff to you because you have it. You know, you've got the main leverage. But those are some things that you can look out for. I hope that helps. It's Kevin Christian. Appreciate you watching.